Last year we had a terrific run on the Rashi sichos. We did every single week on Sunday another Rashi sicha, and most of the time was the first or last Rashi. It was terrific, it was geschmack, it was good, and it was really 50 years of the anniversary when the Rebbe first started giving his whole thing of the Rashi. It was tough, yeah, it was 51 really. Tough Shin Chofhei. His mother passed away on Vov Tishrei, and right on Shabbos Bereshis, the Rebbe started every Shabbos.
What year is that?
65.
Never miss.
Every Shabbos. That was the only. Also, the previous year we did a nice project. We did about, if you remember, throughout the whole winter, what was the mitzvahs that the Avos did? How did Yaakov Avinu did all the mitzvahs? But he married 4 sisters, and Yosef kept all the mitzvahs. But he gave his brothers non-kosher meat, non-kosher wine, and Avram Avinu kept all the mitzvahs, but all kinds of things. How did it work? This year, we'll do just the story behind the parsha, the story behind the story. We'll just do sichos that give us a deeper view of the story in the parsha. I'm not saying that we'll, from time to time, we might do a Rashi Sicha. Maybe in another year we'll get back to Rashi Sichos. But this year we'll focus on the story behind the story. One of the big stories in this week's Parsha is the rainbow. The rainbow. So they go in, they're saved by the Teva, they come out. He brings a korban to the Eibishter, and the Eibishter smells, and he says, I'm not going to destroy the world ever again, and I'm going to make a sign between me and the world to show that I'm not going to destroy the world ever again. And what's the sign? Zois Abris, and it's going to be the keshes. It's kashti nasati be'onan. I'm going to place a keshes into the cloud, and that's going to be the ois abris between me and the world, that I'm not going to destroy the world.
But it's a sign also that right now the world is supposed to be destroyed. But I'm not doing it.
Okay, so that's the poshta l'chorda, the poshta pshat. The problem is, that's the poshta pshat. The problem is, and all Mefoshim ask, what do you mean? This is a natural occurrence. There is an explanation. You see, my Rabbi Wikipedia gave me a whole explanation over here of how of how it works. It didn't give me anything about the Zois Ois Abris.
When you go to Niagara Falls, you see it every day.
You see it all the time, right? Yeah.
Every day.
Niagara Falls. So,
few places in the world where the water falling very strong.
You see it, right?
It's called the Rainbow City.
Right. And we were there actually this summer with the kids. It was amazing.
And you
see rainbow?
Bridge, rainbow. Just look away, right?
Just look away, no? Make a bracha.
You make a bracha, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Don't lose the chance of making a bracha.
Yeah.
You do first, shoot first, and you ask questions later. First you make the bracha, and then we have to figure out what it means not to be mistakel in the onan. Don't want to talk about that today. Talk about a different issue. The basic question that all the Mefoshim ask is, how is this a sign? First of all, wasn't there ever a rainbow for the 1600 years or so, whatever, some odd years, until there was the before Noach? So there is many answers. The Ibn Ezra answers that the sun was very weak, and therefore you have to fracture. It has to be fractured in the mist, and it wasn't strong, and the sun wasn't hitting strong enough, so they couldn't see it. After the Mabul, the sun became strong. There are Meforshim that answer just the opposite of the Ibn Ezra. If you look this year, by the way, in the Dvar Malchus, they picked the Kli Yakar as besides Rashi, that publishing the Kli Yakar is very, very nice. The Kli Yakar is very, very sweet. So
who was the Kli Yakar?
No, in Basement Achmed, every Motzei Shabbos they give out a booklet called Var Malchus.
Oh.
You get their Chumash, Tehillim, Rambam, Chitas, a story.
I get that.
You get everything for the week.
So you have the
This
Rashi.
year, every year,
Rashi, right?
every
So
year.
at the bottom, the clear car.
This is the actual Kli Yakar?
Mhm. Yeah, very nice, very nice. So look,
Osvadar is the Madura that they printed.
Got it.
they're very nice, very nice. They have so the thrust of this pshat of the Kli Yakar and many meforshim is that and they say it slightly differently each one, but the thing is like this, somewhat like this, that the way the world was before the Mabul, you could never see a rainbow. So the way the Kli Yakar formulates it is that the world was like one big, Amazon forest. That there was too much lachluchis ba'avir. The place was very moist. There was way too much moisture. So if you go to Niagara Falls, you will see a rainbow. But if it's a pluch, there's a hurricane, you don't see a rainbow. Why? There's too much water. It has to be a little bit of mist, and that's when the light fractures, and that's when you could see the 7 colors of the rainbow. But if it's a pluch, it's a mabul, you don't see.
Too much light, you can't
too
see.
much,
Too
too much
you can't
water.
see.
Right. The opposite of the Ibn Ezra. The Ibn Ezra says too weak of a light. He says too much water in the atmosphere, and eventually it created a mabul. But
And why
too
after
much.
this the color, and why after this way, and all this.
But at least we know, because the other meforshim say really it's a natural occurrence. And the Eibishter said that, you know what, this natural occurrence, that's what some Gedolei Yisrael said, this natural occurrence will be a symbol. So they say it doesn't make sense. It was something that was occurring already for 1,500 years, and now, so therefore most meforshim say no. There was no rainbow till Noach came along. There was no. The sun was too weak, or there was too much water. The world there was just too much moisture in the air, and after the world after that mabul, so the world settled, and that's it. The water was not so much in the atmosphere. The atmosphere became much more clean. Others say no, there was a lot of particles of dust in the air, or there was a lot of moisture in the air. But whatever it is, the world was not so clean. The atmosphere wasn't so clean, or the water was too much, and the mist was not. So therefore, you could never see a rainbow. And now you could see a rainbow, and that was the ois that the Eibishter made. But the question still remains: why is this an ois? And how is this an ois? Also, an interesting thing the Gioka says that they say in the Daimar of Shim B'Yachai, there was never seen.
By the way, that makes sense because it was the moisture in the air that caused the mabul.
Right, that's what the Kli Yakar says. So he says it doesn't mean necessarily. The point is that no one ever had to look at the sign and say, Baruch Hashem, because of the rainbow, we know that there's not going to be an destruction. Because just in the sichos of the tzaddikim already, they knew that there would never be a destruction. Okay. Return to our point. Tzemach Tzedek has a maimer where he brings 5 opinions to answer this question. Rainbow seems to be a natural occurrence. How is this an ois bris? And talks about it in Avodas Hashem and according to Kabbalah and according to Chassidus, but the upshot is like this. The world was a very coarse place. And you couldn't, the godly light that comes in, the godly light doesn't have colors. You don't see colors. But when it hits the rain, it hits which is Eid Yalam and Oretz, the moisture comes up from the earth, Isarus de Latata. So the Avodas Hashem of the people, so when they do a good Avodas Hashem, so then the godly light, which is translucent, hits onto it, and then you see the beautiful colors of the rainbow.
Which is a positive.
Which is a nice thing that shows that the lo yishboisu, that the world will always exist. And therefore, before the Mabul, it wasn't possible. Because the world was a very coarse place. After the Mabul, there was no Torah mitzvahs also. And after the Mabul, the world became more purified, and there was now shaykh that there's going to be Torah mitzvahs to purify the world. This is a sign of a purification of the world. So now the godly light can hit onto the water and to show us the beauty of the colors of the rainbow. That's the word of the Tzemach Tzedek.
How's the Rav Cheshbon that out against the fact that Noach was allowed to eat meat, which was a lowering of the rate?
Oh, excellent point. So the Rebbe says, this is the Gemara says, Am Oretz. I'm going to explain. The Gemara says Am Oretz is not allowed to eat meat. Only a Talmid Chacham. So this is why. Because a Talmid Chacham, when he's going to eat meat, he's going to purify the meat. Why should, if you're not a Talmid Chacham, you're not going to eat it l'shem shamayim, you're going to eat it as a glutton. Why should you kill a cow or a chicken? Why should the chicken be killed? Let the chicken live. Why should you pardon the turkey? Pardon all the turkeys. Only one turkey? Pardon all of them. Why should, pardon me, why should it be turkey yelech lamisa, that I should have a big turkey dinner? So it's not fair. But if the person is going to eat it l'shem shamayim, so then the turkey is happy, because the turkey will be elevated. But if the person is going to eat it as a glutton, the turkey is not happy. Why should the turkey die? That a glutton should be able to have a good dinner.
So the bracha, I understand this from hearing before and learning a lot about before, but the bracha is not enough. That's what you're saying?
Right. That's
Not
why
enough.
the bracha helps to remind us and to focus us that we're eating it for Shem Shamayim.
But you're talking about there's certain meditation.
Right.
The bracha
Right.
itself is not enough.
Right. There's the meditation before the eating, and then there's the actions that we do after the eating. We use the energy to do a mitzvah, to daven.
We have in the Gemara that Rav, they ask him a question in Yeshiva, he said, 1 second, let me go home and eat some steak. He came back and he danced.
Exactly.
How
He
is
needed bis the Shmeina de Torah to clarify his mind.
It means the tzaddikim has every day Thanksgiving.
That's it. That's why today the Eibishter made you go to Pomegranate, you go to Moshe's Discount, you go to a Kollel store, you go, Baruch Hashem, Yidden are walking out with carts with hundreds of pounds of meat. The Eibishter made that we need before Mashiach come. We need all that meat to be elevated. So go back to the point is before the Mabul, it was forbidden for man to eat meat because the world was such a coarse place. They couldn't elevate the meat to become holy. So God said, why should a human being be permitted to go kill a cow or chicken or a turkey to eat as a glutton for his pleasure? No, it was forbidden. Only Yerek Esav. You can only eat the grass and the alfalfa sprouts. Right? But after the Mabul, when the world was more purified, so now, there was a different world. This is really the big thesis of the Alter Rebbe in the first Maim of Torah Oyer. The Alter Rebbe says that the Mabul is called Mei Noach. Noach is a tzaddik. Why we call it the Mabul Mei Noach? The Mabul is a negative thing. The Alter Rebbe's whole thing in the Maimon is that Mabul is really a positive thing. Therefore, the Mabul reigned for 40 days. 40 days represents the 40 saw of a mikveh. And the world was purified in the process of the Mabul. The world became a more purified place. It became a more edel, refined place. And that's the big thing of the Alter Rebbe, and this is one of the most important Maimorim, who are we to say, but this is one of the very important Maimorim in the Torah. Yeah, right.
Is it like the page was turned?
Yes, and now the world became a more purified place. Now it was permissible to eat meat. So this goes in well with the rainbow. That now the world was in a way, it wasn't so much dirt in the atmosphere, there wasn't so much moisture in the atmosphere, and the rain was more refined. Rain is avodas atachten, like the Chumash says right in the beginning of Bereshit, ve'ed yalamor, the moisture goes up, which represents the avodah of the Jew, the Geshem, and the godly light is represented in the sun, and it hits, and you see the beautiful colors of the rainbow.
The question is, after the Mabul, they were allowed to eat meat. Was glad kosher meat or regular meat?
Only glat. The Ashkenazim came later and they started, who came first? Sfardim or Ashkenazim? Sfardim.
Sfardim, they're more machmir than Ashkenazim.
Right, they don't need glat. That's what I'm telling you. So
You're basically saying that the reason that there was so much blockage, is that because of the bad deeds of the generations?
So this is what we're going to talk about now. Was it just because of bad deeds, or was it that the world itself was more of a coarse place? And this is what we're going to talk about now. And let's have here a sheet, a little cap, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pilpul, small pilpul, and then we'll get back to the issue of the rainbow, and then we'll go back to understand this thing about a goy. A goy is not allowed to keep shabbos. A goy is not allowed to learn Torah. Why? What's so unique about these two things that a goy is not allowed to? Let's learn the Rambam. The Rebbe points out that there is an interesting machloikis between the Rambam and Rashi, and on this understanding. What does it mean a guy is not allowed to keep Shabbos? What does that mean? So let's learn the Rambam, let's learn the Rashi, let's learn the Gemara, let's learn the Medrash, and you'll see an interesting machloikis between Rambam and Rashi, and then we'll get back to this thing with the rainbow.
Gosh shabbos chayav misa.
Oh, Gosh Shabbos is chayav misa. Well, what does it mean? So the Rebbe held that there is an interesting machloikis on this between the Rambam and Rashi. So let's read. Yeah. The Rambam Hilchas Malachim Perek Yud Alocha Tes. So the Rambam says, Akim Shas Os B'Toyre Chayav Misa. A guy that does Toyre, learns Toyre, is Chayav Misa. Lo Yasak Elo B'Shem Mitzvah Shalom Belavad. V'chein Goy Shabbos Afilu B'Yom Me'yomos. Achoy L'Mosol Atzma Kama Shabbos Chayav Misa. A guy that says that even a Tuesday, if he made it as a Shabbos, he said, this Tuesday is going to be my day off. Chayav Misa. Sunday off, Friday off. Chayav Misa. If you made a holiday, it's Chayav Misa. They have no right to make a new religion, to make mitzvahs on their own. Even
if the laws of Shabbos don't apply to that day?
Yes, he could be a ger tzedek, except all the mitzvahs. He could keep his 7 mitzvahs. He can't add or subtract. But if he did Torah, Shabbos, he kept Shabbos. They punish him. They notify him that he's chayiv misa. They don't kill him. They let him know that from heaven that he's chayiv misa b'dei shamayim, but they don't. The bezin doesn't kill him. Next halacha is ben Noach. I'm just more important is this halacha, but just to get you a full picture of the halacha ben Noach shirotz v'lasas mitzvah b'shem mitzvah toirik b'lekabel schar. If a guy wants to do one of the 613 mitzvahs, because he wants to get the reward, they don't hold him back. You want to do a mitzvah, do a mitzvah. He could do it with the halachas, with all the details of the halacha. It may be oilo, if he brings a korban oilo to the base of Mikdash Makabel and Mimeno, they take it. Tzedakah, here, take a copy, sit down. So there is, so we see that there's a goy has a right, and the goy has a right to do mitzvahs. It's interesting that just to point out that not that that the goy can do any one of the 613 mitzvahs, but he can only do it because not because he's establishing his own religion, but he says the Yidden do this mitzvah, I also want to do the mitzvah. The Yidden bring korbanos, I also want to bring a korban. But there's 2 exceptions. When it comes to Shabbos and learning Torah, you can't say the Jews keep Shabbos, I'm also going to keep Shabbos now. That's already an infraction. That even, in other words, he can't do any mitzvah by saying, you know what, like, the Old Testament is nice, but it's a little too hard. So what they call the what they call the Old Testament. So we're gonna revise it and we'll make it a little easier. We'll do this. We'll take it. Not allowed to do that. Yeah. But if they want to say, you know what, 630 mitzvahs is a lot. I can't do that. I want to do 5-6 mitzvahs. I'll bring a korban oil once a year. I'm not going to give 10% tzedakah. I'm going to give 5% tzedakah. I'm going to have a mezuzah. So that he's allowed to do.
But did I get any credit for it?
Well, if he's going to get credit,
are they just trying to get rid of them and saying, go have a good time, waste your time, and spin your wheels? Are you getting
from the Rambam, it sounds like yes, that he would get some type of schar. Maybe not like a Jew, but it sounds like he would. But one thing he can't say, you know what? I'm going to make my own religion. I'm going to take 6-7 mitzvahs and create my own. That he can't do. But when it comes to Shabbos, he can't even say, you know what? I'm not going to make a goyish shul. I'm going to come to I'm going to come to Beis Menachem. I'm come to Young Israel. I'll come to no, can't do that. Can't do that. Okay. Just want to clarify this. So the Rambam says that the goy is not allowed to set aside a day that day is Shabbos. Let's learn the Bereishis Rabbah.
Did they do that on Sunday?
That's exactly what they do on Sunday. Or the Noitzrim do that on Sunday, and the Ishmaelim do that on Friday.
Yeah.
So according to the Rambam, they're not allowed to do that. That's terrible. They're not allowed to do the Chaim Misa. Medrash Rabbah Shmois Perek Chafei Yud Aleph.
It's interesting by Shabbos and by the rainbow. They use the word ot.
Right. It's always a good point. Medrash Rabbah says in Shmois, Perek Chofei, Yud Aleph, Ruki Hashem Nosan Lachem Es HaShabbos, Lo Yitzorech Lomer LaDu'u, Ma Ru'u, Lekach Omer Lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yevoy, Yevdik Cham Yomer Lachem, Lo Ma To'ez Umes Yom HaShabbos, Mim Hazeh. The Goyim will say, why are you making Shabbos? Imru Lahem, say to them, Ru'u She'en Amam Yored B'Shabbos. So that's what Ru'u, see. You see, Shabbos is a special day. You can see the laws of nature show it. Like the Gemara says, Sanhedrin, Sambatyan even is not throwing rocks on Shabbos. That means you see that this is a special day. Ru'u ki Hashem nosan lachem as a Shabbos. Another diuk in the world, Ma'u nosan lachem. What does it mean? The Eibishter gave lachem. What is the extra word lachem? Lachem nasana v'loy legoyim. Kam omrim yov legoyim v'yishmar as a Shabbos. Loy daim shenem mekabim schal shchav misa. Shenem, as it says in the pasuk. Yom v'layla lo yishboisu. V'chein hoimer, as it says, Beinu bein b'nei Yisrael, it's only between me and the Yidden, oisi. Moshel l'melech ha-moshel to King Yoshev, and he's sitting on Matruna, Yoshevet's Kenegdei, and his queen was sitting in front of him. Ha'oiver b'neim, if a person walks by, and between them, chayav misa. What do you mean? You're walking between the king and queen? Who are you to walk between? So the Shabbos is a day that the Eibishter is resting with the Yidden. The Eibishter is the king, and the Jews are the queen. So a person that you know walks in between them is chayav misa.
We see King Achashverosh, whoever doesn't call cannot go to his room. Even Esther Amalka wasn't called, and she went after.
That's only for Achashverosh.
No,
Usual king, they
Al-Khat
only chops off the head from the other people. Not the. She was scared that her head would be chopped. Okay, look at the Gemara Talmud Baharenius Marich, then Hashmiyenius Koilech. Come and sit. I can see your face. Harenius Marich and then Hashmiyenius Koilech.
No, I just said there is an case though in the Chaylos Yeshuvim from Yevonis that we're talking about a Ger Toshov that eats Nevelis but does not, but is Makabel upon himself not to be able to observe.
Well, that's something else. We're not talking about Avodah. We're talking about Shabbos.
No, I'm saying he's Makabel himself not to be able to observe, and he can eat Nevelis. So he's not a full-fledged Ger.
Good, that's a good.
There, Rashi says that he would keep Shabbos, and places argues and says that would be a kosher shabbos. But I guess Rashi held that not being able to have a Zorah would include keeping Shabbos.
But Rambam, it seems clear that that it's not for Ger Toshav. The Rambam says the only people that can keep Shabbos is a Yid.
Right. I'm just saying, but the Rambam could be just talking about a goy.
No, the Rambam says. He says, "Oh, ye a ger tzedek." He has to be a ger tzedek.
Oh, I see.
The Rambam says, "Be a ger tzedek."
There are places says that he wouldn't, even a ger Toshav, he wouldn't keep Shabbos.
Okay.
But Rashi says he would.
Okay. The Rambam clearly holds there has to be a Yid, and otherwise forget it.
Right, but a ger Toshav is like an in between.
But look, the Rambam says, "Oh, ye a ger tzedek." Look at the Gemara. This is Aloch stems from the Gemara, Talmud Bavlis, and Hedden Daf Nun Chesam and Beis. Omer Eish Lakish, Avik Kechavim Shabbos Chayav Misa, Shenema, it says in the Pasuk, Yom V'Layla Lo Yishboisu.
Right, no, I understand.
Lo Yom V'Layla Lo Yishboisu.
I go ahead now if I keep Shabbos.
Omer Mar, Azor L'Shalahem Zu Misos. Omer Ravina says, Afilu Sheni B'Shabbos. Okay, let's look at the Rashi. Last two Rashis. And then the Gemara continues, why isn't counted in the 7 mitzvahs? The Gemara says that the 7 mitzvahs are positive, not negative. Okay. Last two Rashis. If he takes off a 24-hour period, a full day of work, he's chayav misa. The pasuk says that when Eibishter gave a covenant, the Eibishter said that from now on, Yom V'Layla, there will be Kayetz, there will be Chodev, there will be Koyer, there will be Chaim, there will be Yom, there will be Layla, Lo Yishboisu. The seasons will never stop, day and night will never stop, winter and summer will never stop, spring and fall will never stop, day and night will never stop. Lo Yishboisu. So the Pashtup Pshat Lo Yishboisu mean that the sun and the moon will always work, and that the world will always have the seasons, and the day and night will always be. But we're talking about the world, not about the people. But the strange thing is, why does the Torah say the word lo yishboisu? Yom v'layla lo yishboisu. It says lo lashon Shabbos. Should have said Yom v'layla lo yafsiku. Lo yibotlu. It's like lo yatzru. What is like a strange lotion? Ishboisa means Shabbos. A man, shvita. The sun will have shvita. He's going to go to the sun. Will go to the beach. The moon will drink a martini. I mean, what's the pshat that we're saying? That's like a funny language. Yom v'layla lo yishboisu. So therefore, this is the Gemara Darshan. So Rashi explains. The Kodorishla lo yishboisu memalocha b'nei odom nami koyu. V'lo yitema lo yishboisu ach sheish yisomim de krokoi koloim le'evatlo ve'elav sikum v'liyois. Not only the day and night will not stop to exist, but the men that are working day and night should also not stop working day and night. That's why the Torah uses the language lo yishboisu. Not only that the sun and moon, the day and night should always work and not stop, but the men and women that are working day and night should also continue working day and night and never stop. Obviously, it doesn't mean if a person is sick and the doctor says he has to rest, he has to rest. Doesn't mean if a person can't keep on. It doesn't mean that a person has to work 24 hours a day, 48 hours every 2 days. It doesn't. Maybe a person could only work 30, 40, 50 hours a week. But Rashi says it can't be that a person sets aside a day and says, no, today I'm not working. No, you can't do such a thing.
So if you set aside 2 days, not to work.
2 days, 1 day, can't do that.
If not for a religious reason, the guy can take a break from work and it wouldn't be good.
Not so clear. He takes the break and work because he's weak, not because he wants vacation. Omer Ravina, Afilu Sheini b'Shabbos. That's what Rashi. That's why I have to see the second Rashi. What is Ravina adding to the Lochid Shlokish said? What does it mean? Afilu Sheini b'Shabbos. Rashi explains. Lo yitei meshvisa the kamar atzalayim l'shum choy v'kamar the lo lichavan lishbos. Kegoin b'Shabbos sheyem shvish liYisrael oy be'echad b'Shabbos sheshevsim bayan noitzerim. You shouldn't think, Ravina says, one is going to learn the Lochid Shlokish and say, by the way, this Gemara is the new one, Nois V'Hoder. The old Gemaras, they don't have this word Noitzrim there.
It was censored.
It was censored. But now that they reprinted the Nois V'Hoder, so they put it back in. Why should they not put it in? It was just censored by some goy or some meshumad. So Ravina is coming to tell you a chidush, that if you just learned the Lochid Shlokish, you might think that a goy is not allowed to rest on Shabbos or on Friday or on Sunday. But Stamazoi, Monday, Tuesday, not an official day, Stamazoi, he doesn't want to work that day. You would think that's permissible. Menucha ba'alma ka'asalu. Even a regular day melucha is asur. Shaloya batla melucha. Afila yom she'enoi bar shvisa. That's why the Ravina says she'eni b'Shabbos. Yom ha'kamad alav yom b'shvisa nokat. Because Sunday the goyim are resting. So obviously a goy is not allowed to rest on Sunday. But even Monday is not allowed to rest. Sunday, that's what the Shlokish said. A goy is not allowed to say, oh, Sunday, that's it. All stores have to be closed. It's illegal to be open on Sunday. Sunday, not allowed to do that. That's what the Shlokish already said. The Ravina says, Afil l'sheini b'Shabbos. In the days of the Talmud, there was already noitzrim. There was already noitzrim. The Yishmaelim came after the Talmud.
No, but in a way, though, the fact that the Christians make it on Sunday was a good thing, because that way it wouldn't look like there were people that were Jews that were falling for the religion. And now that when they had moved it from Shabbos to Sunday,
but as far as
it was a false religion.
As far as a Shlokish is concerned, for a goy, it's equally evil. It's equally also to make a Yom Shvisa on Friday, Shabbos, or Sunday.
But I'm saying at least they know it's not Judaism.
Okay.
So what do we do if we have a legal holiday, American holiday, and we're not going to work?
That's only for a goy. The Isur not for a Jew. That Isur is not for a Jew.
The going also, they force us not to work that day. It's not
But that's we're allowed to rest.
The close, Labor Day.
That's
Nobody
not.
works.
That's not.
We must rest on Shabbos. It's not like if we want.
We don't have a choice. There's no choice.
We must.
But
Go,
it's
if you want,
So like, let's say, can they celebrate the 4th of July or something like that?
Sounds like not. Sounds like not. Sheni.
What about vacation? People get 2 weeks off.
No, vacation is different. Vacation is different. The person is weak, and he mentally the person physically and mentally cannot work day in, day out, every day, every week, every month, every year, before he goes meshuggah. He'll mentally crack up, and physically fall apart. So a person, that's something else. The Yom Shvisa means, listen, I have enough money, I want to enjoy life, I don't want to work. That's a different thing. So the way the Rebbe sees it like this, that there's a machlokes between the Rambam and the Rashi. According to Rashi, a goy not only is not allowed to set aside Shabbos or Sunday or Friday as a day of rest, he's also not allowed to take a day off work. He could take a day off because he's weak, he's mentally weak, physically weak, he needs a day of rest. But to say, oh, I have enough money, I want to enjoy life, take off, I'm taking off. I have an extra few sick days, I'm taking off Tuesday and I'm going with my wife to the beach. That's also according to Rashi.
If the boss
says
taking off our business is closed on Sunday, he has no work to do.
Okay, listen, that's
You're saying it's also taking a vacation.
He should go. Then he should go into his garage, and he should take out a hammer or a drill, and he should do something.
Okay.
You know, they said there was. They say there was once a yeshiva man. Rahman al-Aslani found out that his mother went through a conservative conversion, and she was a goy. So what do we do? So he's gonna do gatus, but the meantime, it's a Kuman Shabbos, and his friend says to him, you know, it's a goyish shabbos, it's a chayev misa. You have to do today a malacha. So he says, don't worry, I'm carrying something in my pocket. So he says, you're carrying something in your pocket, but in this town there's an Eidah. So he says, you think I'm going to rely on that Eidah?
That's cute.
So if the goy does some type of malacha, so he declares that it's not a day of menucha for him. But the bottom line is that Rambam holds that the goy is not allowed to set a day in the calendar. 4th of July, 25th of December, the Sunday, for the Yotzerim, Friday, for the Yishmaelim. But if an individual goy wants to say, I want to take off Tuesday, go with my wife to the beach, no problem. But Rashi says also that is also. Also that is also. Because it says, Yom v'layla lo yishboisu. So really it seems that the Rashi and the Rambam are coming from different psukim. Rashi is more emphasizing the Gemara. Yom v'layla lo yishboisu. That the Eibush said, just like that there has to always be every day and every night there has to be sun and there has to be moon, there has to be Yom v'layla, there has to be winter, there has to be summer. The people also have to always work. If you're tired, you can take a rest. But you can't just say, I'm taking a Tuesday off, I have a sick day, I'm just going to the beach. But one second. Yeah. But the Rambam seems to more like the Medrash Rabbah, that this is a sacred day between the Eibush and the Yidden. And therefore, because it's a sacred day between the Eibush and the Yidden, therefore the Goyim can't. There's no such a thing that the Goy says, "I'm going to rest on Shabbos. So I'm going to make Friday a rest day. I'm going to make Sunday a rest day." But if Stamazah he wants to take his Tuesday off, according to the Rambam, it's not a problem. There is still a difference between the Rambam and the Medrash. The Rambam and the Medrash is because it's a sacred covenant between the Eibush and the Yidden. It's like the king and queen that are vacationing. And this guy came with a parachute, and he thinks it's funny to just plop down between the king and the queen, and then the king says they should chop off his head. But the Rambam, it's a little different. The goy, if a goy declares that Sunday is a Yom Menucha, then he's making his own religion, and that's terrible. He's not allowed to do such a thing. But the common thing between the Rambam and the Medrash is different than Rashi. That Rashi says that the goy can't take off even a Tuesday. But the Rambam says no, he could take off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm sorry, not Friday. He could take off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But as long as he's working Friday, Shabbos, Sunday, he can't make a special day and declare that this day is a Yom Menucha. Yes.
2 questions. Number 1, what about what they call retirement? Where a person, they pay him Social Security, whatever, and give him a pension, he doesn't work. And number 2, how is a guy supposed to know about this halakha if he's not allowed to learn Torah?
Oh, the guy is allowed to learn the halachas that are relevant to him. And not only that, we're obligated to teach the goyim.
We're obligated to teach it to them because they're not going to look in the Gemara and the Rambam.
No, we have to teach it to them. The thing is, it's not easy to teach it to them, but we have to teach them as much as we could.
The Chinese people bought from art school with most.
Yeah, they had
Korea.
Korea.
The Jew is smart. What are they learning? Let's see.
And what about retirement?
So retirement depends what retirement is. If a person is, it's a polite way for the workforce to push him out because they don't need him anymore, and that so that's one thing. But if the person himself, like I would say, that if a guy came to Rav and asked him, I could file for early retirement. Rabbi, is it mutter or also? I would say that Rav would have to tell the guy it's also. I would say that's pretty clear.
I knew a case where Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky told the Yid that it's also.
This is noch
Take early retirement, and he had written a sefer that was accepted by Lemdei Torah, and he wanted to take early retirement and sit and learn all day. And Rav Yaakov said, no, keep working and continue as before, learning in your spare time. That's what I heard from
okay. It's a culture game, but goy, but that was an Eitz HaToiva probably.
Right, it's not us.
But I would say, taka for a goy, it would be also.
How Jewish people have a lot of kosher workers, and you told them Shabbos you don't work. You told the goy you don't work from the Shabbos.
No, there's two things. There's I don't want to pay my workers because I can't. I'll go, but the goy is allowed to go home and fix his car and mow his lawn.
You don't work for me, but you work
yeah. You can do plenty malacha.
They do.
You can do malacha. Yeah.
Wax the car.
Yeah. Take it off, put it back. Keep yourself busy. Keep yourself busy, exactly.
But if the goy chayav mita, if he shomer Shabbat,
Yeah, that's what kosher shobbos.
bidei shamayim, or he has to wait.
Bidei Shemayim. No, that's what Saramov says. Bezin doesn't. It's only Bidei Shemayim. Right, ain't an eric.
You told him to chayav misa,
But yeah.
You say, I don't care. I'm going to anyway.
Right. So now, Azoy.
How does this connect to the Rambam?
Oh, how does this connect? So Rashi is very understood. Rashi says that Lo Yishboisu, everything, the world has to keep on running. Therefore, just like the sun and the moon have to keep on running, also the people have to keep on running. I told you the other day, I saw in Israel, I saw in a workplace, they had the sign, Kan Ovdim, Metzeis HaChama, Atzeis HaNeshama.
In Israel it can be, but Israel don't work.
You go to a clock to relax for 1 hour.
In America,
That is like. But you know what? By a goy, it's really true. The goy is lo yishboisu. He always has to work. But according to the Rambam, how does he actually understand the Gemara? The Gemara says that we learn out that a goy can't rest from lo yishboisu. But the Rambam doesn't hold that way. It's not that he's, according to the Rambam, he's allowed to take off a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's just that he's not allowed to make a religion. But how do we learn that from the words lo yishboisu? And what's more is, really according to the Rambam, and in the Medrash, we have to understand, why is it really so bad for a goy to keep Shabbos? Why is it? I mean, so the Meforshim and the Medrash say, if the goy has too much spare time, they're going to become criminals. You can't give a goy too much spare time. You give a yid a spare time, he'll write a sefer. You give a goy spare time, he's going to kill a few people.
That's what
so, yeah, keep him busy. You got to work all the time. Keep him busy. May public school send them to play ball.
Unemployment now. That's where crime is.
A yid has time in his hands. He opens a Gemara. A goy has time in his hands. He does crime. That's the one pshat. The other pshat is that the Jew Shabbos is to do Yom Shekula Shabbos and Menucha. Goy, what do you mean? Goy does have nothing to do with Yom Shekula Shabbos or Menucha. Another pshat that the Mefarshim say is that the Shabbos represent the Jews is higher than the Mazolos, and the Goy are not higher than Mazolos. The bottom line is, why do we keep Shabbos? The simple reason for keeping Shabbos is to inculcate that the Eibishter created the world. That we believe in the Eibishter. The Goyim also have to believe in the Eibishter. So why would it be so terrible for the goy to keep Shabbos? So in other words, question number one, according to the Rambam and the Medrash, that the goy is allowed to rest, but he's just not allowed to make his own religion. How does it come from the words lo yishboisu? And secondly, what would be so terrible for the goy to keep Shabbos? So the thing is like this. We see that before the Mabul to after the Mabul, there's two differences. On the one hand, before the Mabul, after the Mabul, we said the world is lo yishboisu. The world was going to exist forever and ever, as long as it's designed for the world to exist. But there won't be all of a sudden an interruption that the world will be destroyed. The Abishah said it's never going to happen. I give you a sign, it's never going to happen. On the other hand, the Ranbam says that Adam Mabul hoyemein ba'orech. On average, how much did people live until the Mabul?
1,000 years.
1,000 years. And today, what's the average people live?
100, maybe
10% of
80,
it.
70.
Yeah, 80 years maybe. So, even Mr. Shelach didn't hit to 1,000. He got almost 1,961.
How did it change from 1,000 to 100?
Yeah. How did it go from 1,000 to 100?
Yes, that's not
So, in the one hand, we say the world gets much stronger because we say that the world is guaranteed that there will never be an interruption. The lights are not going to shut off. There's never going to be a short fuse. The world is not going to cease to exist all of a sudden. On the other hand, we say that the world is weaker. People are living 10% what they used to live.
Fading of the life force.
Right. So what's going on over here? So here's the Rebbe's words. That the world was created Bereshis, B'shvil HaTorah, B'shvil Yisrael. There was the Matan Torah made that the heaven should come down to earth. The Elyonim should be brought down to Tachtonim. Before the Mabul, the world was more in the way of Elyonim. After the Mabul, the world was more in the way of Tachtonim. And then the Jews came along and they revealed the Elyonim in the Tachtonim. So let's take it one step at a time. What happened before the Mabul? There was no keshes. He said, why was there no keshes? Because the world was a very coarse place. So you couldn't have a keshes in the world. After the Mabul, the world became a refined place. So in other words, before the Mabul, the people weren't refined. It was the Eibishter. It was like a superimposed light. From the Eibishter, it was Elyonim. It was only the godly light that made them. That's why they lived so long. That's why they lived so long. If it's regardless of what the person is going to do, he's going to live. He'll live 1,000 years because it was not from them. It was from the Eibishter. It was the Elyonim. On the other hand, if the person is rotten, so then the Eibishter says, who needs the world? There's no reason for the world. The world is rotten. So that's it. No more world. After the Mabul, it's the other way around. The Eibishter made that the world itself should be a more refined place. It's not just that the Mabul made that we went back. Someone asked before, but it's not just that the Mabul meant that they went back to what it was. The world became a better place than before any sin. Before there was any sin, the world was still a coarse place. Therefore, now the Eibishter made that the world should be a refined place. However, now that the person lives on his own sichos, no 1,000 years, 100 years, lucky, maybe 90 years, maybe 80 years. On the other hand, the world will always exist because it's never possible that the world will be so rotten that it's unredeemable. It'll always be redeemable because people are always going to do tshuva. That's why in the days of the Mabul, when Noach spoke to them, they couldn't, he's speaking and talking to rocks. No one was doing tshuva. But he kept on telling them that there's going to be a Mabul. They see his building, it didn't help. He's talking to the walls. Why? Because the world was such a coarse place that they were alive because the Eibishter made them live. Not because they were worthy to live. So on the one hand, they were going to live 1,000 years. But once they sinned, they were condemned. There was no purpose for having this world. So the Eibishter just flooded the world. After the Mabul, it's the other way around. The Eibishter made that the world is a more refined place. However far a person goes, he can always do tshuva. So therefore, the world will never be condemned because people ultimately will always do tshuva. But on the other hand, because the person lives only on their own sichos, and it's not just a heavenly light that will make them live, so therefore people live 80 years, 90 years, 100 years, they live much less. So the bottom line is that before Matan Torah, the revelation in this world was El Yoinim. It was God made a person live, so Mr. Shelach lived 961 years. But when we sinned, there was no redemption. On the other hand, after the Mabul, it was the other way around. The Eibishter made it's a pure world, it's a much more refined world. Therefore, that's the whole idea of the Keshes, that therefore the godly light can hit onto the world, the vapor that goes up, the Maisa Tachtoinim.
The Kain did tshuva.
They could always do tshuva. And therefore, that's the idea of the Onan. But therefore they live also shorter, because it's their own avodah. Now, what is Shabbos?
Can we say that there was, in those days, that there was you said light was coming down. Is that only just in their life, or that there was more godliness that was more easily revealed?
Not that it was easily revealed. The contrary, it wasn't easily revealed. But their life was, there was a revelation for Milyonim, not that they deserved it. They couldn't relate to it. And that's the light couldn't hit the cloud or the mist in a way that the beauty of the rainbow would be shown. They could never see the beauty of the rainbow. Now, after the Mabul, the world is more pure. We could see the beauty in the rainbow. We could see as the light hits the vapor, hits the clouds, and we could see the beauty of the rainbow.
I read something different, that the environment was, the reason Adam lived so long was the environment was perfect. And he created a perfect man. Because the environment was perfect, he was perfect.
Okay. But all these Mefarshim that talk about the rainbows say the opposite. So we're talking now according to them. They say that there was...
How the possibility the Khan will kill Hevel when the light is so strong?
You can say the opposite, Kshaila. How is it possible that Kain did tshuva b'chlal? In those days it seems that it was never shaykh to do tshuva. The Rebbe asks the opposite Shaila in the Horas here. He says that he did tshuva because he was born in Gan Eden. Adam did tshuva because he was created by Hashem. And Kain did tshuva because he was born in Gan Eden. But otherwise, people, it wasn't shy for them to do tshuva.
But it wasn't a real tshuva because he had to get killed at the end.
Okay, but it was considered a tshuva. It wasn't a real tshuva, but it was some type of tshuva. Let's go to Shabbos. What Shabbos? There's a beautiful thing in the Maral. We say, like Rashi says that what was the world missing? Menucha. Shabbos came Menucha. So the Maral says like this: the world always has to move. Something that's alive is always moving. The heart is always pumping. The world is always moving. But stillness, menucha, is something that's otherworldly. It's out of this world. So the only thing that was missing in this world was menucha. Menucha is out of this world. Something which is spectacular. Something that really doesn't exist in nature. So therefore, Bo Shabbos Bo Menucha, there was something unique that was the world always moves. So like this. Therefore, you don't see in the chitzonis of the world, you don't see Shabbos. Jews, they could see Shabbos. Like the Mittel Rebbe said, that the great doctors noticed, they observed that the Leil Shabbos beyoimoi, that the pulse of the Jew is quicker. Because the Jew feels the Shabbos. Chazal say that the Jew has an neshama yeseda on Shabbos. So the Jew feels the Kedusha of the Shabbos. But the Goy not only doesn't feel the Kedusha, the Goy, if a Goy should keep Shabbos, it's the opposite of the Eibishter's purpose in the world. When the Eibishter, after there was a Mabul, the Eibishter said that the world is lo yish boisu. What does it mean lo yish boisu? That the world will always move. There will always be a pulse. The always being a pulse is not a negative thing. It's a positive. This world is a type of world, just like the Eibishter is lo shanisi, like the prophet says in Isaiah. The world is lo yishboisu. Just like the Eibishter is lo shanisi, the Eibishter never changes. The world never stops. The world is always on a move. It's always moving. The world is always spinning. The heart is always beating. The water is always moving. Things are alive. Life always has to move. There's no stillness. And that's an expression. The lo yishbois is an expression of ani avaya lo shanisi. So therefore, a goy that rests is doing the opposite of his mission. A Jew has a mission to bring the elyonim, what's outside the world, that holiness into the world. The menucha, which is stillness, to stop. But that's out of time and space. That's out of this world. And bring it into this world. But the goy's job is not that. The goy's job is to keep on, to express the Eibishter's greatness of lo yishboisu, of lo shonisi. His job is to, therefore, before the Mabul, when was Noach commanded that he's not allowed to keep Shabbos? God never changes.
Right.
So this world is always moving.
Right.
That's an expression of God's constant existence. Before the Mabul, they didn't have the mitzvah of Shabbos. It wasn't forbidden to keep Shabbos. Because then there was a revelation. God was in the world in a way of Elyonim. They couldn't feel it. They couldn't feel Shabbos. It wasn't a mitzvah to keep Shabbos, but it wasn't also an avera. It wasn't forbidden for them to keep Shabbos. After the Mabul, then it became forbidden. The Eibishter told Noach, Yom v'layla lo yishboisu. The day and night will never stop, and you will also work, just like the day and night, and the sun and moon, everything in the world is always moving. There's the world naturally is chosar menucha. It's not a negative, that's a positive. There's always betanua. The world is always pulsing. There's always a pulse, because a pulse shows that it's alive. There's always a pulse in the world. So the goy is obligated now to express this lo yishboisu of the world. That's the job of the goy. Therefore, if he keeps Shabbos, not if he a day of rest. According to the Rambam, not if he has a day of rest, like Rashi. If he declares that I'm keeping Shabbos or Sunday or Friday, only Jews are the ones that could bring the menucha into the world. The goy expresses the reality of the world of choser menucha, the pulse, the movement of the world. That's what the goy has to show. The goy shows that the world is always moving. Something is always happening. The world is always spinning. And the heart is always pumping. But the Jew brings something from out of the world. The Jew brings the Elyonim and the Tachtonim. Therefore, there's something unique about, just like Torah. Torah is bringing God Himself that's out of the world into the world. And Shabbos also is bringing an out-of-world experience into this world, a kedusha which is chosa. This world is naturally chosa menucha, is always in the movement. It's not menucha, but the Jew can bring in the godly menucha into the world. But the goy can't. The goy has a job. The job of the goy is to express the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the nature of the world of chosa menucha. Therefore, it's forbidden for a goy to keep a quote-unquote day of Shabbos. Friday, it's forbidden for the Muslims to say Friday is a Yom Menucha, or for the Notzrim to say Sunday is a Yom Menucha. Dafka the Yid has the job of making bringing kedusha into the world.
Does this have anything to do with it? Was there any kind of second symptom by the Mabul, you could say, when the waters receded?
Not
like a symptom?
Not that I know. The Kabbalah is not brought Adarab. So to summarize, so we have here before the Mabul and after the Mabul. So before the Mabul, the world had something unique, and after the Mabul, there was something unique. The bottom line is that after the Mabul, the world became a more purified place. Yeah. And the job, but the goy is to express the lo yishbois of the world, and the job of the Yid is to express the yishbois of the world.
Now, during the 10 generations from Noach to Abraham, and even the generations from Abraham to Har Sinai, they were all B'nai Noach.
Yeah, right.
But, and it sounds like they were also to keep Shabbos, because that's when the Eibishter gave the command. When the Eibishter, right when he went out of the Teva, the Eibishter said, Yom v'layla lo yishboisu, and Chazal say that the meaning in lo yishboisu meant not only that the sun and moon will not stop, but also that the men and women that are working is lo yishboisu.
What I was getting to say was that we say about the Avot that they did keep Shabbat.
Right, the Avos says
so
that.
But till Matan Torah, they were all B'nai Noach.
Right.
So how do they start keeping Shabbat before them?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
I read in parshyos, they said that they knew about this and they would do one thing.
That they did it with one thing.
Yeah.
The Rebbe says a nice word. That's why Yitzchak was born when Avram and Sarah had to be old people. Why? Because it was a connection of in the old generations, that's when people started giving birth. So, and Yitzchak was that glue of bringing the Elyonim in the Tachtonim. And the Elyonim, so that's what they had, they gave birth at an old age.
How do we know that Avram kept Shabbos?
Well, there's Medrashim that say that he kept Shabbos. There's Medrashim that say only Yitzchak kept Shabbos, or Medrashim Yaakov kept Shabbos. We actually went through it 2 years ago. We spent.
Wouldn't it seem to be, if what you're saying is correct about everything you just said, that there would be some kind of salient point, link between Avram and Shabbos? Something would have changed.
But there is a lot of talk about it about Avraham Avinu and Shabbos.
Really?
Yeah.
So why Hashem gave
in Medrash? Yes.
Why Hashem gave Moshe Rabbeinu when he was in Shamayim Matana Yesh Bevet Knazai v'Shabbat Shema?
Yeah.
Why didn't he wait till after? Why didn't he give it before? Shabbat was there.
Why didn't? Because the Jews were not worthy. They were not in the level.
So only in the time of Moshe Rabbeinu, a minute later they make the egel.
That's a separate question. How did they make the egel? Okay, but they did Jew.
And Yom Kippur.